Hello and welcome to Cloud Meets Hybrid, the Automation Talks by XOAP. I am Mario and today we are diving into a topic that's critical yet often overlooked: compliance benchmark automation. But before we go full tech mode, let's meet the person who's driving innovation in this space also, Norbert Ponak from Clourity. Welcome to the podcast. Great to have you here.
Hello, Mario. Great to be here.
Let's start with some human side things. Yeah, for those who don't know you, who are you, and what's your background? Where are you from? What's your passion from the technology perspective?
Sure. So my name is Norbert Ponak. I'm the founder of Clourity here in Austria. So I'm for more than 30 years in the industry now. Worked for vendors like Citrix, Nutanix for several years. Have a very strong data center background from these positions, and worked many years in the virtual desktop and user computing area. And after that, I did some partner enablement for Microsoft Asia Technologies in a role at Aero ECS.
Mm.
And last year, I decided to found my own company just to offer some kind of consulting services for customers to find the right direction when regards to strategy-wise, moving to the cloud, getting more heterogeneous environments, deal with management, divided in the correct steps to have successful projects.
Was there any specific moment for the motivation? Right now is a good time to do it, and this is the main topic I would like to focus on.
Yeah, well, there was some personal reasons for that. So I moved in Austria from the eastern part to the southern part, and had to do a new orientation from business side. And so I thought this is the perfect time to found my own company and bring in all the experience and focus more on consulting and contacts than just in being in the fulfillment part.
Okay. And in which kind of area you are focusing in with Clourity, Azure, AWS, the entire end user computing? Is there a specialty where you would like to see yourself in the future?
Yes, it is. So if you look at the name, Clourity stands some kind of for cloud and security, but it also stands for clarity, meaning so we have to focus on supporting customers in being successful when implementing cloud solutions. And focus areas in this case are for sure virtual desktop infrastructures when customers decide moving to the cloud, for instance. And in regards to these plans, also automation and standardization, because I think these are the most main pillars if you think about compliance and fulfilling compliance standards.
Okay, cool. But you are not focusing on one specific platform or vendor. It's the topic which drives you.
So from the cloud perspective, there's a main focus on Microsoft Azure
Okay.
for sure, because most of the enterprise customers use it or have licenses and cloud services already in place. And so this is a broad ecosystem there.
Pretty cool. You are not just working in tech, you are shaping how compliance and security can be done. But what drives you also personal as person?
Yeah, well, as I said, I moved to the southern area of Austria 6 months ago. So I'm very close to Italy. I'm very close to lakes and also mountains. So there's a good opportunity to go by bicycle. And yeah, that's the famous thing for the summer season.
So maybe we can plan in the next 12 months the next episode live on somewhere on a lake. That would be also great.
For sure.
Cool. All right, let's go into the topic a bit: compliance benchmark, security, automation. If you would like to describe, you said it also in your company name. Um, what is compliance automation or compliance and security automation in your words? How would you like to describe it?
Well, I would like to describe it in some kind of building a consolidated environment for fulfilling all the requirements. Because if you look on the market, and I think you guys know it best, customers become more and more different tools to manage the environment. So there may be Active Directory based endpoints still, or server based systems that still exist, but there are also some kind of modelwork projects going on where Intune comes to the customer's environment. And for sure, partly there may be some kind of cloud projects where workloads run in the cloud. So from this point of view, it becomes very difficult for customers to keep the overview what's going on the endpoint in regards of policy processing, processing of settings, and so on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely right. Um, so it's a complexity, and that's one point. What do you think? How or why do organizations struggle to stay also compliant, even not in the cloud way? If we look at the legacy world, I think they have the same issue also there, and now it becomes maybe more complex than before.
Yeah, for sure, this is a common hybrid problem, I would say, because you have it also in on-premises environments. I think one common issue or problem what mostly every customer has is the time to remediate. You know, there are a lot of investments going on in regards to SOC solutions, vulnerability management solutions, and so on. And you get the report and you identify all the issues, and then it takes very long to remediate
Mm,
because of lack of resources, technical problems on the system side, not compatible for being upgraded, and so on. And I think there is a solution that can remediate automatically if you use it right, be a very, very useful
yeah,
solution for the
yeah, yeah,
customers.
yeah. In Germany, we have this BSI standard. Yeah. Uh, what are common benchmarks companies are using today? What would you say that is the most important thing to focus, or maybe there are more than just one? But uh, what
Yeah.
would you say?
I think we all know NIS2 is a very important one that's is very new. But if you look on the financial industry, insurance companies or banks, there's also the DORA compliance, very important right now. And there are very heavy regulations that are really, really difficult to fulfill. And there it's not only uh, in configuration management, but also in documentation repertoire,
Mm,
because you are responsible to remediate an issue in a defined time frame. So you need a solution and the view about what's going on during the remediation phase.
definitely. Most of them, yeah. DORA, for example, is more also a framework, yeah, how to do it. And then the challenge will be how to bring this framework to a technical view. And um, do you think that an automation relay replace manual auditing processes, or will it be a hybrid somehow?
I think it's a hybrid because there's still a combination of organizational and technical tasks to be compliant. But I think you need very detailed information back from the technical processes to bring the information to the auditor, to the audit itself, and can get ensured that you are fulfilling all requirements.
Yeah, yeah. As you know, we are an automation platform, so we try to automate everything, and our
Mhm.
goal is definitely to go somewhere in kind of not only scripting, but configuration management and configuration as code, how we say. What role does configuration as code and configuration management play here?
I think it's the uh, very flexible framework so for building a configuration baseline for all systems. Independent of the requirement or independent of the policies you need to apply or independent of the regulations, you can build it very flexible and apply it to the systems. So it's very important to have a solution that can address the endpoints or server systems independent of their base management solution. So meaning if it's managed per GPO, per Intune, non-managed, if it's in a foreign directory structure, you can do it for every client, very flexible, and get the information back, what's going on, which system are compliant. And I think this brings the most information out of the technical process.
Where do you see organizations failing when they try to implement such kind of, let's stay on this technical part. Of course, there are some SOC reports and maybe they know what is the issue, but the process afterwards, what do you think where the organization fail at the point?
They fail or struggle, I would say, in finding the right ways to remediate very fast. So, if you have a SOC report, for example, there may be a lot of reasons why they fail compliance. There may be outdated applications, outdated operating systems, incorrect configured systems. So there's some combination of everything, and that makes it very hard to fix it in a short time period. And I would not say fail because most customers I discuss with have a lack of resources internally. So they cannot do it in this time frame needed because there are so many other projects ongoing, parallel. And then when the SOC reports comes on the table, there's real stress. and how to solve this then? Yeah, and this is where a solution like SOAP and well configured policies may help very fast.
Yeah, that's true. That's definitely true. The problem it's not, as we see in other areas, not only the knowledge or missing knowledge, it's the missing time and resources to do work on these specific topics in a continuous way. That's the major thing. And as you say, XOAP, yeah, we do not do a lot marketing here, but of course, I would love to hear when you know what we are doing and you use XOAP, and what would you say that's a good use case and that's why you like it, yeah, and that's how you would like to handle it maybe also in the future? What's the best case for you at the end?
Well, we see in XOAP a very open and flexible configurable platform. So for us, it's a framework to build individual configurations that fits best for every customer. And the focus can be in different areas depending on the project. So it can be platform management. We're deploying infrastructure components to hyperscalers or hypervisors. It can be image management for standardized deployment process of server systems, or also virtual desktop systems. And on the security and compliance side, it's the configuration manager part. You can build a baseline, you can reuse it for different customers, customer can adapt it. So for us, and you also use, if you are in the SOC area, the application management part to have everything very fast remediated. So meaning it's not a big solution that has to fit on top of every customer's environment, but you can choose. So wherever the problem persists, you can use the right module to bring benefits to the customer's environment and the customer's workflow. Yeah.
Do you that's a nice feedback. Do you see also the topic, because you say automation of in configuration management, automation, application management? Do you also see customers setting compliance baselines for the Azure accounts? How to handle the Azure account and subscription and configure it? Is that a use case?
Yeah, every customer should. Yeah, as you know, and you also said before that some customers may fail or struggle in their projects. This also happens because in if you work with the cloud infrastructure with the hyperscaler, you can do many things very fast. So then things happen, customers deploying services and so on without any structure. And at the end, or after a couple of months, this becomes an issue and they build it back
Yeah,
or they have to reconfigure. So from this point of view, there are some kind of recommended baseline configurations, cloud adoption frameworks, and so on from the cloud hyperscalers. And for sure, it makes very much sense to build this baseline infrastructure inside a solution like SOAP and run it on every subscription or every tenant you use in the future for customers or for the customer itself. Because
that's
then it's standardized. Yeah? This is the only way to standardize this. And to adapt it. You can
definitely.
develop the requirements because they change over time.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's definitely a good point. Cool, cool. But before we wrap it up, yeah, let's talk a little bit about what's next. Yeah, what kind of trend or um, yeah trend you see in 2025? Long as pretty difficult, but what you see in 2025? What will be a trend for the second half of the year?
Yeah, with trends, it's difficult to say what really will happen, but we all know there's a lot of topics in regards to KI-based solutions in the security area, in business application area. And I think in combination or as a requirement for using KI very efficient, that will be necessary for customers to migrate some services to the cloud. Just to use all the capabilities and the service offerings there. So there may be a bit stronger demand in the second half of the year in regards to cloud transition. In combination with the services of business applications, then there may be also projects coming in again for desktop virtualization or DaaS services. Microsoft has also a very strong portfolio at the moment and wants to position it by their customers. So I think this cloud adoption in combination with AI projects may be a strong interest for many customers.
Cool, interesting. If you would give just one tip to a company starting their compliance journey or automation, what would it be?
Plan before you're doing it.
That's a good plan. That's a good point. Plan before you create it. Yeah, that's cool. Uh,
Mostly their failure occur.
that's true. That's what we see also. They start, try, test, and then everything from the beginning. Yeah, that's totally right. Very nice, Norbert. Thank you for the nice insights. Yeah, where can people connect with you or learn more about your work?
Yeah, easiest way to connect will be LinkedIn. So you just find my profile when you search my name, and then I can connect back and we get in touch and discuss maybe further opportunities.
Cool. Norbert, thank you. If you enjoyed this episode, check the description. I will put also there contact information from Norbert, or want me to cover a specific topic next time, feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn or drop me a message. Thank you, Norbert, once again for joining our podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Have a great weekend, and everybody, see you soon.
Bye.